Hi, I'm John Waterhouse. Welcome to the original Science of Mind as taught by Dr. Barbara Waterhouse. It's going to be a great class tonight. Barbara's going to continue the conversation about effective prayer and treatment. And I'm sure that there will be nuances of wisdom that will come to you by being part of this class. So I'm sure in every way it's going to be a wonderful class for everyone that joins in. And where we're going to begin is with the spiritual mind treatment. So if you would join me in knowing the truth that there is only one presence and one power. It dwells everywhere and always. It dwells at the point of me, and it dwells at the point of everyone else. It is the force that animates and creates, and it is the allness of the universe. And with that knowing, we move into this class to experience great wisdom, to refine our ability to create in our lives through spiritual mind treatment. And I know that everyone that joins in this experience is deepened and has a wonderful, joyous experience of spending time with Barbara. And knowing that this is true, I simply let it be in gratitude and most of all love. And I know it's a fantastic class. And with that certainty, I let it go, let it be, and so it is. So have a great class, and I'll see you at the end.
So one of the things that was in the reading or is in this section is this idea of prayer. And keep in mind, Ernest is trying to get people to grasp the fact that the audio recording is not on. Ernest is trying to get people to grasp this idea from the ground up. So his question is, what is it that if someone prays for a healing and they get it, and someone else prays for a healing and doesn't get it, what's up with that? So what do you think about that?
No fair.
No fair. That's what I think. No fair.
No
Christina.
No faith.
So I think that comes back to my question, like sometimes the healing doesn't look like healing, but it is a healing.
Right. Transitions can be healings.
Yeah, exactly.
Because life is
Crossing over.
eternal.
Right.
So a transition can be a healing. Troy.
But it could be the prayer itself. As Jim Morrison said, you can't petition the Lord with prayer.
With what?
Okay, so the very fact that you are praying, usually which means that you're talking to an outside God, would be the flaw in it. But of that paradigm, one person gets a healing, one person doesn't. What's up with that? Susan and then Sue.
Belief,
What kind of belief?
belief that impossibility of healing, belief, a memory and a remembering that I am whole, complete, and I believe that.
So is that one person has a better prayer?
No, I think one person has a belief, believing is seeing, if I believe it, it will be.
So one person has a greater belief
Yeah,
than the other one.
The sick
Sue,
person.
and then Betty, and then Valerie.
Yeah, kind of what Susan said, one person has a deeper knowing and a deeper belief in what they're doing. The other might think they have, but there might be some, maybe even subconscious blockages to that, but one has a clearer path in terms of.
So it's not that there's a God on the cloud that's just picking and choosing who to grant the answered prayer to.
No, it's the Lord.
Important point. Betty and then Valerie.
Well, one of the things is that prayer is non-existent, and at one point in time, the prayer might have been answered for this person, and this one might be in the works, it's just not there yet.
So it's our perception whether or not it's answered, just like Christina said.
Right.
Maybe the transition.
It's in the time frame, that the prayer is answered in. It might be a little bit different from one person to the next.
Understanding that truth known demonstrates instantly. So there is no time frame, but there is a time frame of us to experience it in our manifest form. Valerie, Jane, Shari, Bob, and Quan. You guys got lots of answers.
One wants to be healed and the other one doesn't.
One wants to be healed and the other one doesn't. Who was next? Jane.
The sick person is more has faith. And
So just like Susan said, it's belief and faith.
yeah.
Okay, because there are plenty of people who have belief and faith in certain things. I'll be right there. The extreme of that would be voodoo. Now, I lived in Miami. Voodoo works. If you convince someone that they are cursed, they will experience that. Or it could be a belief in a healer. Or it could be a belief in a certain kind of medication. You know, the placebo effect is so huge. It could be a belief in the new kind of tea or food diet that's going to heal you, that if you believe that that's going to create a healing inside of you, then it is. So it's about belief, it's about faith, it's about let's not be too hasty to judge. Maybe that's their healing. Maybe the transition is the demonstration of that. Sorry.
It could be, like my question about Tom Brady, what they're praying for specifically isn't actually what they want.
Right, that's why we never name names. We don't. And I've had students that just didn't want to hear it. They were sure they had the right person and did some metaphysical mojo and had disastrous results.
Or job positions. No,
Right.
that job is mine and it's gonna make me happy, but really, that's not the job for you.
Or just go for the happy.
Yeah.
Maybe the happy shows up without even a job attached to it,
Right.
instead of that particular job. Okay, now you're gonna have to remind me who was after
It was two
Jane.
guys.
Bob and Kwan.
I was thinking knowing, just knowing, not necessarily believing, just knowing something is true because you've witnessed it or it's been demonstrated to you. So it's more than knowing than it is
Belief, faith, knowing. Wonderful. Kwan.
You know, like they were saying, ultimately, you're healing yourself because God is no respecter of persons. You know?
Right. So God cannot say, I like you more than the other. I like you more than you. God is not a respecter of persons. That's what that means, that God doesn't have preferences. So the phrase that we have is the answer to the prayer is in the prayer, whoops, when it is prayed. What does that mean? The answer to the prayer is in the prayer when it's prayed. Sorry.
It's our affirmative prayers. We affirm in our prayers what we know is true.
So in an affirmative prayer, it's because we are affirming it at that moment as being true now. Kwan and then Jane.
Just the intention, like, which,
I think it's even more than intention though. I think it goes back to trust and faith and belief. Jane.
I was gonna say that the person praying has a belief in what they're saying.
Right. So the important point, did you have something, Nancy?
I was just going to say our consciousness of truth.
Our consciousness of truth. The important point to get is that it's in the person. It's not a capricious deity out there just saying, okay, we only had 100 healings today, you know, and we used them all up on 7.5 billion people, so you're out of luck. It's not like that. It's got to be from in yourself. Rick.
I think a lot, I love that example that Braden gave one time about the Hopi Indian praying for rain. He felt the rain. He imagined he felt, you know, that feeling, what it was like, and that is that sense of having it now.
Right, he did not pray for rain. He prayed rain.
Yeah.
Big difference. What's the difference between praying for a healing and praying a healing? Reason.
Well, I had a question on this before.
Okay.
The answer to the prayer is it the prayer?
Well, I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
So because they're one and the same, right? The person doing the prayer and the prayer are the same. So this could be read as the answer to the prayer is in the prayer when it is prayed, or it could be the answer to the prayer is in the prayer.
Person who was praying.
when it is prayed. Which all brings it back to you. You can't say that this person next to me demonstrated, boy, we were both in that prosperity class and we were both affirming our increased income and they won the lottery and I didn't. There must be something out there that doesn't want me to prosper because I am so bad. That's not the way that it was. It is how can I open up my awareness to that, to the level that they did, because every demonstration for everybody is available to you right now. If anybody has ever healed it, so can you. If anybody has ever demonstrated it, so can you. If anybody has ever experienced it, so can you. There's nothing in an infinite universe that says there's only so much to go around, and so if somebody else got some, you don't get yours. There's only that the more we demonstrate, the greater the energy, the more expansive the consciousness, and the more that there is to get. So when somebody else wins the lottery, what that is wow, there's more for me to get. And I'm right there with you. Yay, congratulations, I'm so happy. Happy dance, yay. I'm so grateful and happy now that I'm abundantly prosperous, that money pours into my life, that people hand me the winning lottery ticket. That's what I love so much about the story, is that Tom Wright, who won the lottery during a prosperity class, actually walked into what was then the CVS pharmacy on Patton Avenue, and they had already printed out his ticket.
Wow.
And said, this is for you.
As bad as
And won the lottery, you know?
That's cool.
So yay, that's for me, that's for you. I want to be a part of that, but there's nothing outside of us that says, no, you can't have that. If anyone ever sold a house in 4 hours, so can you. If anybody ever sold a house for more than they were asking, so can you. If anybody ever had people bidding on their home, so can you. You can have that. It's inside of you. And it doesn't have to be an affirmative prayer. My first mother-in-law, who is transitioned now, 100% Sicilian, serious Catholic. She was serious about her Catholicism. That was in the time when St. Anthony was still held in high regard before he was defrocked. And they would sell these green for St. Anthony and green for money 7-day candles. And she knew that if she lit the 7-day candle and said a prayer to St. Anthony, that before the candle had burned out, she would have what she had asked for.
Yeah.
And she always did. She always got everything that she asked for. She still had an outside God. She still did a very traditional prayer, but she had a belief, a faith, and a trust that what she wanted was going to show up, and it did. And she had, a spirit on a time limit. You got 7 days to work this out. And it would show up. So what we want to do is when we move into this idea of spiritual mind treatment, of affirmation, of affirming that which we choose to have with gratitude and thanksgiving, when we move into that, we want to make sure that we have it inside of us. That's why we have so many descriptions for that law, and one of them is the law of mental equivalence. That inside, on a mental level, which is just the part of you that's aware but not physical, not your brain, mind, on a mental level, you got it. It equals that which you want. So if you want the car, go sit in it, smell it, drive it around, feel it. That's why we do those things. So that we create inside of us an equal, an equivalent of what we want to have on the outside. And when we do that prayer, I know I was in the First Baptist Church a few years ago looking at their sound system, and they have on this giant wall the prayer of Jabez. Is that the word, Jabez? Any Bible people?
Jabez.
Jabez, the prayer of Jabez, and it's a gratitude prayer. All it is thank you. Thank you for my prosperity. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my health. It is a believing prayer, is the new code word in the Christian, I was trying to figure out community. Well, it's more in the big churches than it is in the little churches. But it's where traditional Christianity is going, to actually listen to the words of Jesus. One of the things which is, when you pray, believing you have received, you shall receive. So it's our job to believe it. It's our job to be the prayer or the prayer that has the demonstration of that which we are praying for. And if we are praying for something, how do we have it? We don't have it. If I'm, dear Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz, I don't have it yet. If I am praying for rain, I don't have rain. It's an important point to get. You pray rain. You pray health. You pray wholeness. You pray love. You pray joy. You pray gratitude. And then all of those things, God, why am I being so biblical? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all those will be added unto you. If you raise your consciousness into that awareness of your oneness of spirit, then everything shows up, whether you thought it was going to look like that or not, whether it's a new thing, whether it's a surprise. Jackie.
So your first mother-in-law had this unwavering faith.
Unwavering. She was great.
She was cemented into it.
Yes, she was.
Well, I am very seldom that way, cemented, and I waver. I'm high and
So
low.
that is your job, to stay with what you want to be cemented in until you get it. You're wavering because you're dabbling. A little bit here, a little bit there. You have a good day, you don't have a good day. That was like Kwan saying, well, happiness, you'd be happy one day and sad the next. Your job is to stay with it until you really, really get it. And once you get it, whether it's demonstrated on the outside or not, you've got it. And Ernest says, if you have to stay up all night and get your head wrapped around this thing that you want to experience, that's your only job. But if you want to say, well, I'll do a treatment here and I'll do a treatment there, but I've got this thing, or whatever it is, then you're vacillating, and so your demonstration's vacillating. And part of your demonstration is your state. Your emotional state is an effect. It is not a cause. Even your thoughts are an effect of choices that you make. So I think that the biggest thing of this teaching is our willingness to hold on to it until we've got it.
That's what you talked about yesterday.
That's what I always talk about. This is not a teaching for wimps. This is hard. This is a lot of work. I've been doing this for almost 35 years. But what else would I do? I would be miserable. So my gosh, I'd rather hold on to it for hours and hours and hours until I really get it. And I get people who have a 5% chance of survival for 3 months, and they've got it written down. Here, Barbara, can you help me on that? Well, of course, because there's no difference. Doesn't matter what the doctor said. It doesn't matter what the paper says. The answer to the prayer is in the prayer when it is prayed. And if I or anyone else can get to that state where I can see God as that person and know that the byproduct of that divine emanation of a physical body is perfect in every way, the person heals. And sometimes it's a miraculous healing, and we all really like that, and it's sometimes with chemotherapy. Either way, the person is healed. The person is alive and well 10 years after that 3-month sentence was given to them. So it is our job to train our thought to be able to stay in that place of vibration and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think it was really great that my mother-in-law Phoebe only gave herself 7 days. She only had to hold on to it for 7 days. She didn't say, well, I'll know this for 7 years. She gave herself 7 days to be really, really clear, and she could demonstrate anything. Rick?
I love that point that you're making. I love where Holmes says, and I just read it, was said if you treat yourself and you know that you're whole, perfect, and complete, and you're walking down the street and you see a sick person, a poor person, a criminal, know that you're still treating for yourself.
Right, so everything I see in other people is my treatment for myself. Think about that. Every time you see someone as less than pure, perfect spirit, every time you criticize someone, every time you judge someone, you're treating for yourself. You're making yourself sick. You're making yourself poor. You're making yourself miserable. So, if you're sick, poor, and miserable, what do you get to look at?
The same thing.
You get to look at how you're looking at the world, how you're looking at life. And that's why practitioners go through such rigorous training, because they can never look at someone else as pure, perfect spirit if they cannot first look at themselves that way. So everything that's going on inside of them, specifically in Prac 1, gets pulled out into the light of day, often through wailing and the gnashing of teeth, so that we can look at it so that that's not additional baggage to be carried into a relationship with someone who really needs and is asking for some clarity and some help. Because when you are really scared, when you feel unloved, when you're being very negative, you know, if we could always treat for ourselves, we wouldn't need practitioners. But when we're in that state, it's very good to go to someone else and say, lift me out. But the flip side of that is that you are also required to work on your own consciousness and your own head so that you don't just keep recreating problem after problem after problem. Jane.
Yeah, that's what bothers me about mental equivalence, which is you have to be so pure about it. And I just, I never had that strong, you know, a longing for a specific thing. And I've always thought to myself, I've always thought, you know, if I really wanted something, it might be wrong.
Well, then that's where you get to work. That nothing that you want is wrong. There is nothing outside of you saying you are wrong. There's nothing offering you something and then saying, by your wanting it, you're wrong. There's no, that doesn't exist. That's a lie, Jane. You can want anything you want. And you should want. I think wanting is a good thing. We are not Hindu. We're not saying that the root of the desire is the root of all evils, or suffering is the only true reality. That we are not doing that. I like the Latin version, which desire is day of sire, father. Every time you want something, it's of the Father, it's spirit whispering in your ear. Go to Hawaii. Get the expensive thing. Order the most expensive thing on the menu. Buy the good-looking shoes. Spirit's whispering in your ear. Do this. Have this amazing life. Live to the fullest. And in doing that, you're lifting energy and consciousness and vibration into a greater level of livingness for all of us.
But what if you overlook something?
Who cares?
Well, you might get, maybe you, and so.
Well, let's do what if. What if you were really happy? What if you really were happy and everything was fine?
Uh-huh.
You want to do what ifs? Let's do what if that.
Well, that sounds, I might have missed,
You gotta go back there, don't you? Don't go there, Jane. Don't go there. Just don't go there. That doesn't serve you. You're not missing anything. Nothing can be lost in the universe. Nothing can be taken from you. You will get this. Everybody will. Everybody has to. It's part of our evolution. You get it this lifetime, you get it in 1,000 lifetimes, I don't know. I think that's all personal choice. But you will get this. We will all get this.
But one thing is that, like, I'm aware that my knowledge is very limited.
No, it's not. You are one with all the knowledge that is. Reverend Ike used to say, get your butts out of the way.
So, what's the difference then between belief and receiving, like receptivity, like athlete receive? Where does the receiving part come in? It sounds like it's
Be
all
open.
belief.
You can't receive if you're closed off. And if you're believing, you open up. You open up to it. So open up to it.
Belief creates, or belief channels the receiving.
If you are praying rain, You have been rained on, even though there's not a drop of rain on the outside. The answer to the prayer is in the prayer when it is prayed. If you have done a correct prayer, treatment, whatever, you have already gotten to that state where you got it. So that's the receiving. You stay with it till you've got it. That's why I encourage people. If you want money, go get a bunch of it. Doesn't matter if it's $100 bills, go get $1 bills. Go to the bank. I love that. Have them pick out the pretty ones. Tell them you're giving them to someone, you're giving them to you. They'll help you. They'll give you pretty bills. Get 10 of them, get 20 of them, get 100 of them, whatever. Have it, feel it, smell it, stuff it in your pocket. Write on your bank statement that you've got a bunch of zeros behind things. Get into that state where you have received it. You got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Valerie.
I just want to do a quick story about what happened to me once some years back. I had gotten really, really sick. And I was so sick I couldn't move or anything. I was just ridiculously sick. And I lay there and I said, okay, what's the rules? What's the rules? I said, oh, I'm not sick. I'm well. I can move around. I started feeling better. You know what my next doggone thought was? That happened too fast. And then when I had that thought, I was sick for 3 more days.
Right, right. So we have our own limiting beliefs. John called me Saturday morning, and he was in Arizona leading a practitioner retreat all day, and he woke up and he called me and said, I'm sick. I need help. My heart is racing. I've got sweat pouring off of me. I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm going to pass out, and I need help. And so I treated for him. Don't poor John. I'm not married to a poor person. I'm married to a rich person.
Yes.
So I treated for him, and he said it took about 30 seconds.
Wow.
And he was okay.
And he was fine. He went and he led the practitioner retreat. You know, he just had that change. Truth known demonstrates instantly. Our bodies are a mirrored reflection of mind. Nothing out here is solid. Everything is vibrational. Everything is changing. Our bodies are the easiest things to demonstrate on. You can all make yourselves sick. And you can make yourselves well. And it all happens just like that. Drew.
Place no limit on principle.
There's no limit on principle. If there was limit on principle, we would not live in a limitless environment. There would be a limit somewhere, and that would mix out all time and space. The very fact that we are here is a proof of the limitlessness of everything, including us. Because even if, remember the circles? Even when we looked like we were over here on the individual circle, we were really in the whole universal circle. Because there's no way to chop it up, just different ways to look at it. Okay, 2 people have their hand up. David.
Well, we can go back to the rain prayer, and I saw something somewhere that made that clear to me years ago. I don't remember where it came from, but the thought was someone really felt it was important that there be rain. There'd been a drought, everybody was suffering, there's lots of problems. Well, the rain wasn't the solution. They needed green fields full of food. So the prayer was, you know, let this be, we're grateful for what we're going to receive, and the fields grew without the rain.
They grew without the rain. Now that's
So,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
It's,
That's cool.
you know, we're limiting ourselves if we think we understand how it works.
Right, right. If we think consciously that we understand the how, we have immediately limited ourselves. Thank you, Mystic David. That's why the how is none of our business. Because we're going to limit our demonstration by understanding it. All we do is know what it is we choose to experience, and I would encourage you to take it up to the highest level. Not say, okay, I know that my foot pain is gone and the plantar fasciitis that the doctor said they were going to have to blah, blah, blah on. I know that it's cleared up and forget that.
So just skip all of that, go straight to the...
Go straight to God. Go straight to God. I am a being of light. I am a being of love. Every aspect of my life is an experience and a reflection of that light and love that I am. I have never screwed this up. I can never screw it up. It is the truth of me before the beginning, beyond the end. I am eternal light and love. I am joy. I'm having an amazing life. And then whether or not you still have the thing with your foot or not doesn't matter. And once it doesn't matter, you stop holding on to it. And then somebody stops you and says, what happened to your limp? What limp? I don't have a limp. You're a perfect spirit, whole and complete, right here, right now. There was a time when they told John he needed 2 new knees. He said, no, thank you. I don't think I'll ever come back with this. Those knees are fine. It's amazing. You grow. The body was meant to heal. Remember, you're either defending yourself or you're growing. And when you stop putting your body in a position of defense, it heals. It'll regrow cartilage. They've had people regrow digits. Regrow digits. It's documented now. The digit was gone, and now it's there. They've got x-rays, they've got pictures, and more people are opening up. A lot of this is going on in the military. More and more people are opening up to the idea that you can regenerate your body so that when people come back and they have big deal injuries, they're working on just regrowing that part of your leg. Don't cut the leg off, regrow it. And you know, we think, oh, the military industrial complex. No, the military is on the cutting edge of a lot of this stuff. It is crazy.
There was one kid who was born, his arm ended here and he only had like one finger. And when he got a bit older, like around 12 or so, they started doing positive belief things, and his arm finished growing out with fingers
Just
and
regrew.
everything.
There was an intelligence within that arm that knew how to grow.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that can happen. Yes, it can. David.
I guess I would just say that probably the most important piece of all this for me is believing I can do it and being willing to try.
Being willing to try. What if you really could
try.
heal? What if you really could heal? I think, I forget who it was, it might have been Bruce Lipton, might have been somebody else, talks about genes. And now they're finding out that genes can either actualize themselves or they can put themselves to sleep. So just because you have a genetic predisposition to something, you can either pull it out and make it so, or you can put it away and make it go. And they talk about it like books on a shelf.
Deepak Chopra just wrote a book called Super Genes, and that's what it's all about.
He took this one from I think it was Bruce Lipton's Biology of Belief. He said that it's like having books on a shelf, and if you take it down and open it up and read it, then you'll bring that forth in your physical body through the power of intention and attention. And if you turn away from the condition, ignore it, and some would say deny it, affirm the opposite, then you take that book, even if it is alive and well in your body, you close it and you put it back up on the shelf, and it's gone. So, well, I don't have the genes for that. Well, just go to the library and pull out the book that's got the genes for that and open it up and read it. And how do we do that? We pray rain. We believe that about ourselves. We affirm it. We say, I am so healthy. I breathe so easily. My body is so flexible and strong. I am so healthy and happy. I love being alive. I am so grateful for this physical form. You know what your body does when you talk to it with gratitude? It goes bananas. It says, oh, we're supposed to be happy and healthy and strong and feeling great, full of energy, sleeping soundly, awakening with enthusiasm for the day. If you tell your body that, it will be that. But if you tell your body, oh, you better get the shot. Oh, but they say the shot's terrible. Well, I'm not going to get the shot. That's being I'm going to get the flu. You give yourself that crap. Your body will do that for you. If you tell yourself you're only going to live a certain amount of time, that you're only going to be a certain size or look or capacity in life, then that's what your body will be. But if you look at yourself, and I encourage you under a full-length mirror, buck naked, look at your body and say, I love you. I am so grateful for fingers. I am so grateful for toes and feet. I get my fingers and toes painted. I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful for a back that is erect and legs that move and my knees, and you just start loving, do a rampage of appreciation on your body in a mirror and watch how your body just perks up. It says, you know how people get when they fall in love? All of a sudden they get a glow, they usually change physically, they're filled with all of this energy. Don't wait for that for somebody else, give it to yourself. Look at yourself, affirm yourself, love yourself, bless yourself, and then watch how that shows up as your body. Your body is one of the easiest things to treat and to heal. And I don't care what place you're starting with. I love the idea that if there's a breath left, you can be healed. And if there isn't a breath left, you took your healing some other way. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is too much. People have been run over by trucks and refused to die, and other people have been sneezed at and were dead 2 days later. It's all about us and how we see ourselves. So see yourself as healthy. Tell yourself that you're healthy. Let go of any burden that you may have, that there's anything wrong that you need to be punished for or ashamed of or blamed for. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Everything is perfect. And I don't care what it was. I had somebody in my class once who shot somebody and stood trial in Buncombe County. Was acquitted. Same thing. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. All you can do is for you. How other people choose to exit is their business.
I don't either. So if I kill somebody, I didn't kill them, they just killed themselves?
Sure.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that you won't experience the effects of your causes, and what kind of a mind frame did you have to be in to shoot somebody. So that's what you get. Frankly, I should stop saying this, but I think that's a pretty good way to go. It's fast. It's easy.
You know this is going all over.
John had an aunt that they were talking, she was very elderly, and they were going to put her in a nursing home, and she said, I do not want to go to a nursing home. Well, we can't take care of you any longer. We're going to put you in a nursing home. We're going to put you in a nursing home in the morning. She died that night. We are in control. Betty.
That happened to my father. You know,
Yeah.
I was taking care of him, and he went through a spell where he got a little worse. He was in the hospital, and they said, well, he needs rehab, we need to put him in a nursing home. And he wasn't in the nursing home in 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's not going to do it.
It's like my brother was just like in shock, and I just looked at him and I said, well, he said he never wanted to be in a nursing home.
We are way more in control than people think.
This is the
Roxanne.
same story. My father was this ornery old hermit, and finally came to the point where my brother needed to move him into a hospital, and we knew he was going to go to a nursing home, and the next morning he was already gone.
He's gone.
People die when they want to be, you know, when their spouse dies.
Sure.
Oh, I've had that experience.
Or they wait till it's after the holidays.
Right. I don't want to inconvenience too many people, but now that you're all gone, I'm just going to go ahead and go. There was one other hand back here. So the reason that I brought that up was not to advocate shooting people, but that it is my belief, I don't care what people say they've done or what they've done, you are innocent. And if you don't feel like you're innocent, it will manifest in your body and the body of your affairs. And you're not paying a debt to anybody. You didn't do anything. Breezy.
This is looking at the opposite end of the spectrum. What are your thoughts in regards to, like, you're trying to do a healing for an infant? That sort of thing.
I don't.
So how do you deal with that on the treatment wise?
You mean if someone asked me to treat for an infant?
Yes.
There are certain things that you can always know about everybody. We have the mama helicopter fly over sometimes 8 or 10 times a day. And I will stop and I will simply know that all is well, that God is all that there is, that whoever is in there is a perfect expression of the divine, that they always have whatever they need, which is true of all of us. I'm not going to say that the specialist from the Mayo Clinic happened to be at mission today and has just what they need. No, they always have whatever it is they need. That they are always at choice. And if that's the specialist is at mission, or if it's that if that's their grandmother reaching out a hand to help them over to the other side. That's not my business. I can always know for anybody that God is right in the midst of it, that all is well, that there's only light, there's only love. And whatever that soul chooses, they are loved and supported in that. I can do that from a baby who is no different from somebody that's older. I can do it for a dog or a cat. People say, treat for me that my cat is found. No, no. I will know that your cat is in its perfect and right place. And if that's coming home, that's great. If that's moving to somebody who loves it better, that's great. If that's squished on the side of the road, that's great. It's all got to be great. Carrie's over there going, yeah.
Don't be looking at my
Thomas did say something about the infant, that you
To
can.
treat the parents, the adults. Because he says the infant, not the infant is subjective is too complicated a word, is impressed by the consciousness and the thoughts of the parents. So that if you have a sick child and the parents are there going, oh, he's sick, treat the parents to stop that, to say and see and know, oh, he's well. But I go ahead and treat the babies anyway.
How does an infant cause their sickness?
Nobody causes it from a conscious level,
Okay.
other than our choices to be just crabby, crummy people.
So they're crappy babies? I mean, I know they're grumpy,
This is the question. What about babies that come in sick? What about people who are in concentration camps? What about people who are experiencing genocide? We are all on the soul level, eternal, ancient beings. Whether someone has come in for a second or 100 years, it's all the same. So if that baby has come in, and if they, let's say that they either are coming in with stuff from a previous life, I happen to believe in reincarnation, Ernest doesn't, but his logic was flawed because he said the only reason he doesn't is that no one will ever get him in a diaper again. That's a valid point. I happen to believe in reincarnation, and if not from a particular life on planet Earth, then wherever that being came from, they are bringing with them the energy of their experience of themselves. So that, if it comes in with negativity and fear and a belief in something hurting them or disease, then they will manifest that. However, that doesn't have to stay that way, and because babies are so open, they're really easier to treat than a lot of curmudgeony old people. And also, if the energy around them is such that, you know, everybody in this family is sick, they're going to buy into that and create it. But everybody on the planet, whoever has been and ever will be, is creating their experience, although very often not at a conscious level. That's the thing. Exactly, Jane. One more, we're going to close. Robert.
I just wanted to ask if anyone knows the name of that song, We Are Innocent, and who sings it?
Sarah McLachlan song?
We are innocent. That one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that song?
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan,
Thank you, yes. I like that everybody wants to rule the world. Take out what you're gonna give. Good class, good class. You got 2 weeks to do the reading for lesson 3. It's a good lesson. Okay. We are at the point of creation. We are using our thought. We are using mind, and by using our individual mind, we are using universal mind to claim and affirm abundant prosperity. So we rise up in consciousness. We know we live in an abundant universe, that we are loved and supported by all. We know that there is more than enough for all, and that each of us deserves to experience this blessing of life. Right here and right now, we open to know that we are deeply loved, we are precious, that all of life is for us. And so we accept that. Money coming to us from various ways in ever increasing amounts. Living the rich, blessed life. Serendipity, synchronicity, laughter, love, joy. We accept that. We know that that is for us. And we say yes. So we give our gift tonight out of that fullness, knowing that we always have more than enough, that life continues to multiply what we give and bring it back to us. We give our gift this night, knowing that somehow that which we are comes together to help make this center all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is. Hold this energy. Know that all of the blessings are ours. That every healing, every return to wholeness, every blessing, every breakthrough, every demonstration has already been given to us. It is already ours. We were meant to live an amazing life. We were meant to live with magic and miracles and blessings of all kinds. We were meant to experience the beauty and the joy, the tastes, the touch, the pleasure of life. That is the truth of us. The universe delights in our joy, and we take it. And I know that everything in these baskets is blessed. That energy of the blessing of the presence of Spirit moves through us. It fills up this room, touches and blesses everyone here, goes on out to bless this planet and every being on it. I know that we live in an abundant universe. I know that there's always more than enough for all. And in staying in that consciousness, we lift every being on this planet. I know that right here and right now, each and every one of us is blessed. We open. We say yes. And so it is.
So it is. Hi, welcome back. This is John. I know that you had a fantastic experience with Barbara tonight. She took a lot of questions and answered them brilliantly, as she always does. So thank you again for being a part of our class. If you can, send us a gift to acknowledge the things that you learned from this class by simply going to our website, clicking the donate button, and by doing that, you support this ministry and all that we do around the world, and you support yourself by acknowledging that you had a great experience tonight. So thank you again for viewing this class, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon.